Tropicana did not lose millions because people suddenly stopped liking orange juice. It lost millions because people stopped recognizing the orange juice they already liked. For years, Tropicana had one of the most recognizable packages in the juice aisle. A white carton, a fresh orange, a straw pushed straight into the fruit. It was simple, it was memorable, and it told customers exactly what they were buying before they even read the label. Then Tropicana decided to modernize it. The company replaced the familiar orange with a glass of juice. It simplified the design. It changed the logo placement. It changed the feeling of the carton. And on paper, it probably looked like progress. Cleaner, smoother, more modern, more premium. But customers do not buy packaging on paper. They buy it on a shelf. And on the shelf, something broke. Customers looked at the new package and did not feel the same brand. Some did not recognize it quickly. Some thought it looked generic. Some thought it looked cheaper. And many felt like Tropicana had removed the very thing that made the brand feel fresh. Within weeks, the redesign became one of the most famous packaging failures in marketing history. Sales reportedly dropped by around 20%. The loss was estimated at about $30 million, and Tropicana was forced to bring back the old design. This is the story of how Tropicana lost millions with one redesign. Before the redesign, Tropicana Pure Premium had something most brands spend decades trying to build: instant recognition. The old carton did not need to explain itself. It showed a white package, a bold orange, and a straw pushed directly into the fruit. That image did several things at once. It said fresh, it said juice, it said breakfast, it said real orange. And most importantly, it said Tropicana before the customer even focused on the word Tropicana. That is powerful. Because in a supermarket, people do not behave like branding experts. They shop quickly, they scan, they recognize, they reach, especially with routine products. Orange juice is often a habit purchase. A customer walks into the store already knowing roughly what they want. Their eyes search for familiar color, shape, symbol, and placement. And when they see the package, they know the decision is almost automatic. That is what strong packaging does. It reduces thinking. It turns brand memory into a shortcut. The orange with the straw was not just decoration. It was a navigation system. It helped customers find the product. It helped the product stand out from competitors. And it gave Tropicana an emotional signal that was hard to confuse with anything else. The design was selling a feeling of freshness. A whole orange, a straw, a direct connection between fruit and glass. The message was almost childishly simple. This comes from oranges. That simplicity was the asset, and that is why changing it was so risky. In 2009, Tropicana introduced a major packaging redesign for Tropicana Pure Premium. The goal was not crazy. Brands modernize all the time. Packaging can become outdated. Retail shelves change. Consumer expectations change. Design trends change. And companies want their products to feel current. From inside a presentation room, the redesign probably made sense. The new carton looked cleaner. It was more minimal. It used a large glass of orange juice instead of the old orange with a straw. The typography changed. The logo became vertical. The cap was redesigned to look like an orange. The whole package moved away from the old familiar image and towards something more polished and contemporary. But that is where the problem started. The redesign did not change one thing. It changed several recognition cues at the same time. The central image changed. The logo behavior changed. The overall layout changed. The emotional tone changed. The package went from warm and instantly familiar to clean, cool, and much more generic. That does not mean the new design was objectively ugly. The more important point is that it was strategically dangerous, because a redesign is not just a design problem, it is a memory problem. Customers do not only buy what looks nice, they buy what they recognize, trust, and understand quickly. And Tropicana had taken a product that millions of customers already knew how to find, then made it look like something else. Modern is not automatically better. Clean is not automatically clearer. Minimal is not automatically stronger. And in consumer packaging, a beautiful redesign can still fail if it removes the signals people were using to buy the product. That was Tropicana's mistake. It treated a familiar package like something that needed visual improvement. But for customers, that familiarity was part of the product's value. The real test of packaging does not happen in a design meeting. It happens on the shelf. That is where the Tropicana redesign ran into trouble. In isolation, a new package can look modern. On a white background, it can look premium. In a presentation, it can look like a bold step forward. But in a crowded supermarket aisle, the rules are different. There are dozens of cartons, similar colors, similar shapes, similar claims: fresh, natural, pure, premium, no pulp, some pulp, lots of pulp. The customer is not studying each package carefully. The customer is scanning for recognition, and the old Tropicana package had a powerful recognition code. White carton, orange, straw, green cap, familiar brand block. The new design weakened that code. The glass of juice was less distinctive than the orange with the straw. A glass of orange juice can belong to almost any orange juice brand. It shows the product, but it does not create the same brand memory. The old image was strange in a good way. A straw stuck into an orange is not how people normally drink orange juice, but that was the point. It was iconic. It compressed the brand idea into one image: fresh orange juice directly from the fruit. The new design was more realistic, but less ownable. And that is a key branding lesson. Sometimes the more literal image is the weaker image. A glass of juice says orange juice, but the orange with the straw said Tropicana. That difference matters. Because when customers could no longer recognize the product as quickly, the purchase became less automatic. Some customers may have thought their usual Tropicana was gone. Some may have confused it with a different product. Some may have seen the new design and felt the brand had changed in quality. And even if only a portion of customers hesitated, that hesitation could be expensive. In fast-moving consumer goods, small moments of confusion can become large losses. A customer does not have to hate the redesign for the redesign to fail. They only have to miss it, or doubt it, or choose something else once. That is enough. The reaction came fast. Tropicana had not just changed a carton, it had disrupted a buying habit. Customers complained, design critics noticed, marketing people studied it, and the sales numbers became the part of the story everyone remembered. The redesign was widely reported to have led to a sales drop of around 20% in a matter of weeks. The estimated loss was about $30 million. $30 million. Not for changing the juice, for changing the package. That is what makes the Tropicana case so powerful. It proves that design is not soft. Design can move real money. Packaging can protect revenue. Recognition can be a business asset. And when a brand removes the wrong signals, the market can punish the decision quickly. Tropicana eventually reversed course. The company brought back the old package. The orange returned. The straw returned, the familiar visual language returned, and that reversal became an admission without needing a long explanation. The old design had not been outdated in the way the company may have believed. It still carried value, it still carried memory, it still helped people buy. The redesign failed because it underestimated the power of existing brand equity. Brand equity is not only a logo in a brand book, it lives in the customer's head, it lives in habits, it lives in shelf recognition, it lives in emotional shortcuts. And once those shortcuts are broken, a company cannot assume customers will politely relearn the brand. Customers are busy, customers have alternatives, and customers do not owe a brand their attention. That is why this became a marketing disaster. Not because Tropicana tried to look better, but because Tropicana changed the very signals that made it easy to choose. So how could this have been avoided? The simple answer is, test the redesign better, but the deeper answer is more important. Tropicana needed to understand that packaging is not just design. Packaging is recognition, it is memory, it is navigation, it is trust at shelf speed. A customer may spend years learning what a product looks like. They may not consciously think about it. They may not be able to describe the exact design, but their brain knows it, their eyes know it. Their shopping routine knows it, and when a brand changes too many signals at once, that routine breaks. That does not mean brands should never redesign. They should. Packaging can become stale, brands need to evolve, but evolution is different from erasing memory. The safer path would have been to modernize while protecting the most valuable recognition cues. Keep the orange, keep the straw, keep the core visual code, then improve around it. Update the typography, improve the structure, clean up the layout, make the package feel fresher without making it feel like a different product. The goal should not have been, how do we make this look new? The goal should have been, how do we make this feel current while still being instantly Tropicana? That is a different question, and it leads to a different kind of redesign. The second lesson is that customers are not designers. They do not reward design bravery just because it is brave. They reward clarity. They reward familiarity. They reward trust, especially in categories where people buy quickly and repeatedly. A redesign can impress a boardroom and still fail in the aisle. Because the boardroom sees the package in isolation. The customer sees it surrounded by competitors. The boardroom sees the concept. The customer sees a decision. The boardroom asks whether the design is modern. The customer asks, often without even thinking, is this the one I buy? If the answer becomes unclear, the redesign has already failed. The third lesson is that familiar does not mean weak. Sometimes marketers become bored with assets that customers still love. A brand team may see the same orange, the same straw, the same carton year after year and feel the need for change. But customers do not live inside the brand office. They see the package for a few seconds in a store. What feels repetitive to the company can feel reassuring to the customer. That is the danger. A brand can become tired of its own strongest asset, and if it removes that asset too quickly, it may discover that customers needed it more than the company realized. Tropicana's mistake was not simply a bad design, it was a failure to respect brand memory. The old package was not just a container, it was a shortcut, it was a promise, it was a signpost in the juice aisle. And when Tropicana removed that signpost, customers got confused. The product inside may not have changed, but the meaning on the outside did. That is the warning. In branding, what looks like a surface change can become a business crisis. A carton can be more than a carton. A logo can be more than a logo. A familiar image can be worth millions. Tropicana wanted a cleaner package, but it accidentally cleaned away the memory customers used to find the brand. That is how Tropicana lost millions with one redesign.